Hello, everyone, and happy Sunday. Welcome back to my show. Today we have not just news update, but also community chatter, big community chat, traditional one for Sundays, and also fundraising streams. So if you appreciate my work past week, if you find it interesting, useful, informative, or entertaining, please consider to support my project. You can do it through several means, of course. You can donate to this project through PayPal. You can use Boosty platform for donation. Also, during the stream, you can use Rumble, a platform for donations, sir. What is the name? Premium subscription gift card. For example, one feature that you can use if you want to, and another one is Super Chat, of course. And please, dear friends, consider to subscribe to my Patreon page and page on Boosty. For several weeks now, at least, I'm publishing first updates early in the morning from Monday to Friday, sometimes even on weekends, during the weekends, on my Patreon and Boosty first, and then at 3 p.m. Moscow time, I have live streams, right, with main news updates. So please consider to subscribe to our, to my Patreon page, join to our Patreon community. Our community on Boosty will be great support, of course. Links are under this video in description box. Links to everything that I just mentioned. And if I may, I will drop in the chat, in the YouTube chat, a link to my Rumble channel, where right now there is this exactly the stream that you can see. So that's a link to my Rumble. And okay, friends, that's it. Also, if you want to initiate conversation but cannot use support forms, cannot donate, please at least use capital Q or capital letters in your and while I scroll through comments, I'll try to respond to as many like that are directed as I possibly can. Uh, so, okay, let's go to some news now. It's a rainy day back in Moscow. We had, I don't know, when summer is, it's like summer didn't get started. Actually, it's almost half of the traffic is faster and did not really have a hot, hot summer days. It's almost constantly rain. As if we are in the UK, right? British citizens that are living here in Moscow probably will enjoy this weather big time. It will give them memories of their homeland. But anyways, let's go through some news, dear friends, and I will start with positive news. Positive news for Russian Federation and their supporters of the Russia and the Russian people. And so we have this report from RIA that Russian armed forces during the previous 12 hours long-range precision strikes on logistical energy infrastructure of the Kyiv regime on a number of directions, including towards portal infrastructure in Odessa region. A group strike were carried out using long-range air-launched high-precision weapons and attack drones. Ministry of Defense of Russian Federation stated two dry cargo ships and a sea ferry delivering cargo to the Ukrainian Armed Forces, as well as the patrol water providing cover in Moscow was targeted infrastructure used for storing military equipment and the logistics center. Transport company Odd-Trans was struck also in Odessa. Transshipment center facilities and storage tanks for fuels and lubricants in Chernomorsk were also eliminated. And this is just one direction of Russian long-range precision strikes after night. And dear friends, I can show you videos of Russian advanced guerrillas being deployed during these attacks. And, you will notice there, dear friends, these attacks were conducted once again there with a territory, right? So drones are guided with the Russian satellite internet. Among other things, there is also presence of this Russian satellite internet that is developing. We have seen, oh, there are sound issues. God, why? Can you check? There is a sound issues. Well, that's unfortunate. Sound should be back now and should be all right. I hope I hope sound is good now. My apologies, dear friends, for technical issues there. For technical issues, let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning. And I was just sharing, dear friends, information about Russian long-range precision strikes on military and logistical infrastructure of the Kiev regime in past 12 hours, past night, basically, through dry cargo ships and the seafaring delivering cargo for the Kiev regime's forces, as well as the patrol boat providing the cover in Chernomorsk was struck and neutralized infrastructure used for storing military equipment and the logistics center of their transport company Odd Trans was eliminated, and transshipment center facilities and storage tanks for fuels and lubricants in Chernomorsk was also struck. And I can show you. I mean, it's so unfortunate, man. It destroys all the vibe whenever there is these freaking technical issues. Unfortunate, very unfortunate, of course. But uh, should I continue or should I start live stream again, dear friends? What should I do now? Yes, now it is. But can you imagine someone just joined and decided to start from the beginning, and I need some cover, man. When I'm streaming, someone have to check constantly videos if sound is good or if video is good. I cannot monitor everything. But anyways, okay, dear friends, I will continue, right? I'll continue. My apologies for these technical issues, but yeah, things happened, man. That's what happened when you are working on a shitty equipment. It is what it is, man. Right? Okay, I'm calm now. Anna is telling me to calm down. Okay, okay, and I wanted to show you, dear friends, some video footage of these Russian advanced drones that were used during these past night attacks on logistical and military infrastructure of the Kiev regime. This is one video, for example. This is one, and quality is quite good, isn't it? Quality is quite good, and for sure, as time goes by, I think we will see even more footage when these advanced Russian drones being deployed to eliminate legit targets on a hostile side. There is another video that also demonstrates these Russian attacks. And clearly, this Russian satellite internet covers not just Russia, but Kiev controlled territory too, and God knows, maybe it can provide internet on the European part of Eurasian continent too. I mean, it's well possible. And there is another one here. This is a Bureau 1440, by the way, company, Russian company, private company that was actively developing to, and some others too. But I believe this satellite internet is Bureau 1440, and it's good, man. It's good, right? So, and as I said, it would not take too long before 1440 will go for will reach out or will provide businesses and citizens too with this satellite internet. But right now, militaries are ones that are using it, which is good. Clearly, it's effective stuff, right? Let's continue. Let's continue with some other news. And we have this report that I bookmarked. Russian armed forces destroyed Ukrainian armed forces warehouse in the Chernigov region using, again, Gerayan drones, advanced Gerayan drones. And there is also video footage out there on internet that confirms this information. In previous 12 hours, Russian armed forces also conducted long-range attacks in the Balaklia area, Kharkov region. You can see some aftermath of these strikes, thick smoke. So clearly, looks like energy infrastructure was struck. Also, Marochko military expert from LPR, Andrei Marochko, shared with TASS news agency information that Russian forces continue to expand their zone of control near their Ivolzhansk settlement in the Sumy region, advancing west and east of their settlement. And this is important developments because Russian troops are getting closer and closer to Sumy city itself. Ivolzhansk is, of course, located in this forestry, massive forestry. This is Ivolzhansk, by the way, area, this village right there. And Russian militaries are further increasing now zone of control over this forestry area, which is basically partially encircles Sumy, right? Creates this forest wall from the northern side. As you can see here, this is Sumy, and so from north there is this massive forest, and from the east and south part of the south. So of course, before launching offensive operation to liberate Sumy itself, this forestry have to be cleared from hostile forces, and that's exactly what Russian militaries are doing right now. And like about an hour ago, dear friends, before I launched live stream, number of sources reported that head of Western backer Nazi and terrorist regime in Ukraine, Zelensky, announced a replacement of Prime Minister Svyridenko. Some personal changes going to take place in the government also. It's going to be shape up in the government and also in law enforcement agencies. I think, Zelensky and his criminal associates are trying to create some obstacles now, right? Create some obstacles for investigators, European investigators from Monaco and from France that are investigating recent Ukrainian terrorist attack in Monaco, during the which former Ukrainian citizen and currently Cyprus citizen was targeted, right? You know, dear friends, that oligarch that was attacked and suspect who actually orchestrated the explosion was found dead on the Kyiv-controlled territory. You know that too, I reported about it. So I think with this shape up of the government and security services, maybe Zelensky and his criminal associates were trying to somewhat distance themselves from elements that were involved, that terrorist activity on European soil. Same time, who knows, it well might be that Zelensky is not happy with the money that he is getting, right, from these officials. He become a filthy rich, right, on a position while being head of this Western-backed terrorist regime. He's stealing billions, and if current prime minister and other ministers are not delivering to him significant enough volumes of money stolen from Western aid, he might fire them, obviously, because this terrorist regime, Nazi regime in Kiev, is operating like a cartel, right? Like cartel, that's that criminal cartel. That's what they are, actually. And, dear friends, Zelensky's regime is actively, and Zelensky's so-called secret services are actively cooperating with the actual cartels in Latin America. and Ukraine is now a major direction through which these poison drugs are entering the European soil. So whenever you will see some drug addicts on the streets, whenever you will see some conversation that there is a increased issue of drug abuse on European territory, you should know that that's Ukraine that doing this to you and your people. That's how it is. Let's continue with some other news. And unfortunately, this Nazi terrorist regime in Ukraine, with the assistance of its NATO backers, continues to conduct daily long-range attacks on the Russian Federation. And past night, Russian Air Defense Forces, for example, intercepted 349 long-range drones that were launched by NATO member states while hiding behind Zelensky's regime over the Belgorod, Bryansk, Voronezh, Kaluga, Kursk, Lipetsk, Oryol, Rostov, Samara, Saratov, Tula, Smolensk, and Ulyanovsk regions of the Krasnodar territory, Moscow region, Republic of Crimea, and over the waters of Azov and the Black Sea. And when it comes to overall, in the past 24 hours, 585 drones were intercepted, if you are interested. And when it comes to Azov Sea, dear friends, you know that in past, during the week, basically, London, British ruling class, British intelligence and militaries orchestrated their largest ever long-range drone attacks on commercial navigation in Azov Sea, right? And dozens of vessels were struck with the drones, according to reports from hostile sources. Past night was no exception. The regime published a video confirmation of new attacks, and Kirill Fyodorov, Vaina Istoria Oruzhye Telegram channel, pro-Russian, by the way, patriotic Telegram channel, shared this information, and they would not share this information if they had no confirmations that unfortunately there was attacks on vessels in Azov Sea again past night. So Kirill Fyodorov reports, his channel reports, for the past few days, Ukrainian drones have been repeatedly attacking ships in the inland waters of Russia, which is Azov Sea, actually. Their only change is their installation of towed cables near the bridge of their ships to prevent drone strikes. However, what this channel is highlighting, that those commercial vessels are beginning now, after so many was damaged, to implement some defensive measures on the vessels, some nets and some stuff. However, Kiev regime continues to attack ships from different directions. So therefore, basically, let's be real, man. The only way we can stop these long-range attacks on the Russian Federation is to restore deterrent with their collective West. This is the only way. Everything else is a temporary measure that might work or might not, or only work partially. Only way we can actually stop these long-range attacks on Russian Federation is to restore deterrent with the collective West, period. Nothing else will work on a permanent basis. And you might ask then, what are you doing? Why you are not restoring deterrent with the collective West? Everybody knows these drones are coming from the West, vast majority of them. Missiles are manufactured also in the West. Intelligence data, flight path, targeting information, everything comes from the NATO countries, collective West. So you might ask, why? What are you waiting for? Why you are not restoring deterrent? And that's a question that everybody is asking, right? And no one knows the answer, with the exception of Russian President Putin. It's up to him, isn't it? Russian military and security services are well capable to restore deterrent, but they need a green light. They need authorization from commander-in-chief. And the commander-in-chief is president of the Russian Federation, right? So it is anybody's guess why Putin is still continues to be with his restraint policies. I mean, I don't know, you don't know, nobody knows, man. Nobody knows what the hell is going on there. And I mentioned that whole week there was these massive attacks on the commercial navigation in Azov Sea, orchestrated obviously by British intelligence, British military, with assistance of US intelligence, obviously. And well, there are numbers, by the way. On July 6th, for example, again, based on this report on Kirill Fyodorov, Vaina Historia Rusi channel, on July 6th, 2 vessels were struck. On July 7, 8, on July 8, 9, on July 9, 12, on July 10, 13. And yesterday, by the way, on July 11th, 28 vessels were targeted. And we don't have stats yet how many exactly vessels were struck yesterday during the night time, right? Probably at least several. And yet again, only way we can deal with this situation, we can stop these long-range attacks, is to restore the deterrent with collective West. Other than that, nothing will work, literally nothing. No matter how many times we're going to strike on the Kyiv-controlled territory, it might slow down Kyiv regime and its NATO backers when it comes to these long-range attacks, but it will not prevent these long-range attacks because most of these drones and the missiles are coming from NATO member states, right? It is what it is. So you want to stop these long-range attacks, you stop collective West. Only way to stop collective West is to strike back on legit targets. And to do so, Russian president have to give a green light, and he is reluctant to do so for whatever reasons, right? For whatever reasons. Also, past night, according to reports, there was a long-range attack on oil refinery in the Syzran, Samara region, and based on image footage that is coming out from their area, significant damage was done to this oil refinery too, unfortunately. And before I continue, dear friends, let me take a pause for a minute and remind you that this media project is completely subscriber funded, truly independent, that is, right? Only exists as long as I have your support, community support, and after all, today we have fundraising, isn't it? Fundraising stream, as this case on Sundays, community chat fundraising stream. And if you can and if you want to support her, you can do it through PayPal, Boosty. You can subscribe to my Patreon page, and you can use, of course, super chat feature on the Rumble. You can use super chat feature on the Rumble or premium subscription gift card, by the way, on Rumble. And there is a subscription gift card on my Patreon too, by the way, in case you prefer that, right? And then you can either give this subscription to anybody or not, but every time you buy that gift card, that's a donation to the project, right? So it helps big time. I just dropped again in the chat, in a YouTube chat, link to my Rumble channel, dear friends. So if you have a account there, you can subscribe, of course. You never know, YouTube might take down my channel any day, anytime. So therefore, Rumble channel might be good reserve line of communication, let's say. And so, okay, that's been said. Let's continue with some other news. And next that I want to report is that there are, according to a number of media sources, US senators say agreement reached with Trump's administration on additional sanctions against Russia. Reuters, for example, reports that a new bill in the US could harm countries that purchase Russian oil and gas. According to an article, senators stated that their initiative, coordinated with the White House, would give Trump new leverage to pressure Moscow. Countries that continue to do business with Russia, as well as importers of energy resources, could be subject to sanctions. Document based on this document, by the way, up to 500% tariffs can be imposed by US if this bill is passed on countries that are doing business with Russia, including buying energy. And one of the authors of this bill is, or was, let me say this way, scum of humanity, filth, literal filth writer, Lindsey Graham, who died as a rabid dog past night. Actually, I'm not joking. This creature, this literal filth, died past night, according to many reports. So, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, yet again, I will add scumbag and filth, who was notorious for his Russophobic remarks and advocated for sanctions against Russia, has died after a short illness. Senator's office reported, and some media outlets already are speculating that he had a heart attack or something. Easy if we care, man. I definitely don't care, man. More creatures like Lindsey Graham died, the better for the humanity. He was not just a Russia hater, he was a hater of mankind, I think, right? There was not a single war that the US was engaged that Lindsey Graham was not in support of. This was a truly scumbag writer, filth, literal filth, and it is good that this dirty freaking bitch is dead now. 100%, right? 100%. LGBTQ plus community will have a trauer, I guess. It's a tragedy for them. Obviously, this scumbag was LGBT, right? He was gay, right? He was a Trump's lover or something like that. There was something between him and Trump, obviously, right? Hopefully Trump will fucking die too soon. Let's hope so. Another scumbag will leave this world and will go into freaking hell, right? That's where their place is. So, of course, no sorry, neither for family of Lindsey Graham, neither for American people. I think they are better off that this scumbag is dead now. All of them, right? And so there is one way. There is one way that there is several ways how, let's say, Russia can deal with this long-range drone attacks on Russian Federation, and also how Russia or any other country can deal with their FPV drones that are also dominating the battlefield, right? Immediate area of the zero line. And I spoke about it quite a few times. One way is, of course, EMP, electromagnetic charger, and of course there is some other ways too. And China unveiled his high-powered microwave weapon arsenal with up to 100 gigawatt of power. And clearly, if you remember, I was saying a couple of months ago that this summer probably we will see announcements or maybe even deployments of these high-powered weapon systems that are basically will fry microchips in drones, right? And I guess I was correct, right? Because looks like that's exactly what is happening. China has unveiled these systems, which can not just eliminate drones, by the way, on a significant portion of the sky. They will literally fry the microchips, electronics of those drones. But I think I forget what I was saying, man. I forget what I was saying. But anyways, it is good that this stuff is being deployed, and I think there is a high probability that sooner Russia will deploy these kind of systems also in large quantities on the battlefield. I hope so, at least, right? And I remember what I was wanted to say. This Chinese system, can fry not just the electronics of drones, but also satellites. It's so powerful that, according to reports, it can eliminate satellites. And this is quite interesting. Der Spiegel or Die Zelter, one of the German, I believe, media outlets, just a few days ago reported that Russia and China are cooperating to come up with their solutions to neutralize Starlink. And by the way, one of the ways that allegedly Russians and Chinese specialists were considering to deal with the Starlink is to fry their satellites, to eliminate their satellites. And these type of systems definitely help with that, if they actually are that powerful that they can eliminate satellites out there, right? And also reports are that one shot of this system that China demonstrated is not that expensive as some might think. So hopefully China will send their equipment in Russia to test in a real battlefield, right? That would be best test Chinese can come up with, and hopefully, if we don't have the same technology, they will share technology with us so that we will fast track our developments in this direction, and we will secure our skies, right? Who knows? We will see. But good news, nevertheless, good news, and it also one that confirms that my predictions, by the way, usually come true, right? I said that this summer we will see this kind of stuff being deployed, and I guess that's exactly what is happening. A few more news. Past night there was another escalation, tit for tat exchange between U.S. Militaries and Iranian militaries. U.S. Again struck southern Iran with missiles. And Iran retaliated. Iran retaliated, of course, and U.S. assets were targeted in 5 countries this time around. During the previous tit for tat, Iran was targeting U.S. assets mainly in Bahrain and Kuwait. Once Iran struck Jordan too. Now retaliatory strikes was taken on U.S. assets in 5 countries in the region. Let me give you details on that. So the Iranian army used their drones to strike a Patriot air defense system and their munition depot and the U.S. radar facility in Kuwait. There were also reports of destruction of U.S. AI Udeid Air Base in Qatar, logistics center and aircraft carrier refueling platforms in the port of Duqm in Oman, and the communications and the radar hubs in Bahrain. Tehran also announced the destruction of a command center and their hangars for MQ-9 drones at the Prince Hassan Air Base in Jordan. So good, by the way. Hopefully, Iran's retaliatory strikes was effective, and a lot of U.S. military assets were destroyed. Let's hope so, because U.S. is on the wrong side of history, Iran is on the right side of history, and of course, we have to support Iran, by the way, right? We have to support whoever is on the right side of history, and clearly Iran is, and Iranian people, for sure. They did not provoke this war. They did not do anything really to be attacked by U.S., but they were attacked by U.S., right? Iran did not threaten U.S., did not send its militaries in Mexico or Canada or anything like that. They were living their life, right? And their Western ruling class Zionists decided that they're going to go after Iran now, and they've been beaten. As of now, they've been beaten quite badly, right? And Iran continues to teach them a lesson on daily basis, basically, which is good for humanity, not just for Iran, but for all of humanity, I will argue. Also, we have this report that Oman has proposed creating 2 navigation corridors in Hormuz, according to CNN originally. And this is, of course, an initiative that is coming not necessarily from Muscat, capital of Oman, but from US, right? From US, by the way. But yet again, Oman is in no position to resist American pressure, so they are kind of caving in. Although Tehran probably understands what's happened, they would not be too mad at Omani leadership. There will be mutual understanding between them. But proposal is that, Muscat wants Strait to be divided in 2 corridors, the southern and the northern. Northern will be controlled by Iran, southern by Oman, and the Oman proposes that this Omani part of the corridor will be free of charge, free of everything, right? And for headlines, this topic may be used, and was used actually, but for real life or in real life, of course, this would not work, by the way. None of their proposals in regards to Straits will work right now, because just give it a couple of months, and US and Israel and their allies, most likely a number of European countries too, gonna resume large-scale second phase of this war against Iran, large scale war with the ground invasion. So it will be absolutely irrelevant what kind of talks were taking place right now, from now and to that point when second phase has begun in regards to either Persian Gulf or Hormuz Strait or anything else. Unfortunately, war is inevitable. Next phase of the war, or we can say third war between US, its allies, and Iran. So all these talks about Strait, Gulf, it's just headlines. That's all it is, really, right? Meanwhile, Iran demonstrates that their positions should be taken seriously by everybody, or they will learn hard way that they should take Iran's position seriously. And another company that was run by stupid people, another vessel that was also led by stupid captain, decided that Iran's warnings mean nothing. They tried to pass through Strait of Hormuz without getting Iran's permission, and there was a strike on this vessel, and the crew has to be evacuated. According to reports, vessel was very significantly damaged. Okay, what they were thinking, man? Are these people brain dead completely? Don't they understand what's going on? I don't know, man. Freaking suicidal creatures, man. Telling you, right? Also, Iran, according to reports, conducted strikes on enemy, on hostile positions in Iraqi Kurdistan. And dear friends, I said during the next phase of a war, US will of course go for ground invasion, right? And there is two primary directions, not just two directions, but two primary directions that US and its allies might use for ground invasion. One is, of course, this most southeastern part of Iran on the Gulf of Oman, where Baluchi minority lives predominantly. And another one is Iraqi Kurdistan, or northern Iran, that can be targeted from Iraqi Kurdistan. And there are US secret services, Israeli secret services, British secret services. They are actively working with their Iraqi Kurds to basically force them to join this anti-Iranian coalition, and they might succeed in that. Although when it comes to Iranian Kurds, I think Iranian Kurdish society will be divided because majority are Shiites, by the way. Majority, I believe, of Iraqi Kurds are Shiites, and how they going to fight against their own brothers, man, on behalf of Washington, London, and their Zionists? I mean, I don't get it, right? So probably there is a high chance that with Iraqi Kurds, US, Israel, and UK will have some success to force them to join their anti-Iranian coalition. But inside the Iran, Kurds gonna stay loyal to their country, mostly. But nevertheless, this is a direction, one of the primary directions from where Iran might be targeted, this northern Iraq or Iraqi Kurdistan. And every now and then there is some military operations that Iranian special forces, Iran's IRGC, are conducting to basically keep local Kurdish formations at bay. Right? So exactly that happened in past 12 to 24 hours with these alleged Iranian strikes on Iraqi Kurdistan. And also, I think this is interesting news that Russian state nuclear corporation Rosatom has stated that their first 6 employees of Iran's Bushehr nuclear power plant have begun returning to the plant. This was stated by CEO Alexei Likhachov. Rosatom, which is building 2 new units at Bushehr, evacuated hundreds of staff after United States and Israel launched their immoral war against Iran on February 28. So Russian specialists are going back to Bushehr nuclear power plant, but I'm afraid this This would not last for long because yet again, man, later autumn, early winter maximum, and um, I will give her 99.9% that US, Israel, and their allies gonna go for next phase of war, and so Russian specialists will be forced to evacuate again from Bushehr nuclear power plant. Also, I think the interesting news here that United States will purchase over 10,000 cruise missiles in next 5 to 7 years. U.S. Air Force is expected to purchase 11,200 JASSM and LRASM cruise missiles over the next 5 to 7 years, according to information published on the U.S. government website. Previously, there were reports of planned purchases of 4,300 missiles. Deliveries are expected to begin 27 months after the contract is signed. The contract covers all existing and future variations of LRASM and JASSM missiles, including the new LRASM ER and the JASSM XR missiles. And yeah, they are preparing, by the way. They use a lot of cruise missiles, Americans, during this um, previous phase of the war in the Middle East, and they will try to replenish their stockpiles because you know, of course, they are preparing for a wider war, man, wider war against Russia and China, against either both simultaneously or against each at any given point. I remind you, dear friends, that European NATO member states are basically making it open, right? Open secret now that they are planning to prepare their armed forces for an open war with Russian Federation by 2029, 2030. So maybe European, ruling class, globalists, and American ruling class, they are on the same page, and the U.S. will join Europeans during that war. Maybe that will be catastrophic, of course. I hope Russia will be led by other president by 2030. I really hope so, man. By time that this war will happen, open war either with Europe or with Europe and America, Putin definitely not the president that I want to be in a leading position when country is in a war. But we will see. We will see what's gonna happen, man. Also, reports, interesting reports that according to New York Post, Rubio runs Venezuela from DC. He effectively controls Venezuela's government, finances, and the distribution of natural reserves. U.S.-Venezuela relations, manifestation of Trump's era American power, where the winner takes all, regardless of sovereignty and international law. And well, I'm a bit surprised, by the way, that people of Venezuela did not rebel against their colonization of their country. But maybe they will. Maybe they need some little more time to wake up, to realize what's going on. Or maybe they were so sick and tired of all the troubles that they were facing due to American sanctions, Western sanctions, that they prefer now to be slaves of their white masters. Maybe Venezuelan people want to be slaves, man. I don't know, right? I don't live there. I have no freaking idea what's going on. But I'm unpleasantly surprised that there is no rebellion in Venezuela against our colonial regime. It's sad, man. It's freaking sad that tens of millions of people basically kneeled before their white masters. It's just freaking sad, man. Right? But yet again, maybe some people in Venezuela are not kneeling and they are preparing for a fight, for freedom, to fight for freedom, man. Well, might be the case. I don't know. But as of now, No rebellion, no nothing, right? US is robbing Venezuela day in, day out, any way they want, right there. US is raping Venezuela. Literally every single second of every single minute of every single hour of every single day. That's what US does to Venezuela. TASS news agency is reporting that very same Rubio is going after Cuba too, and he stated that U.S. will use any measures against Cuba to eliminate alleged threats. And of course, there is no threats to U.S. from Cuba, but midterm elections are threats for American ruling class, not necessarily for Republicans, although they're going to lose. But people are losing trust into system in the US, right? And to keep people brainwashed, Washington, American ruling class constantly have to give them some shows, right? It's addiction. US society largely is addicted to these freaking cheap shows that they've been given, with the doses, right? Every now and then, every couple of months, for sure, every couple of years, right? Because that's how U.S. ruling class keeps majority in a, in a, a in a zombie mode, right? And so to reinforce system to brainwash again, right? Additionally, significant portion at least of your society, they need new show, and this new show, I'm afraid, bloody show, is going to be Cuba. Going to be Cuba, by the way, and any time from now to midterm elections, we might see U.S. assault on Cuba. I think it's inevitable, right? And of course, Washington will try to justify this with the non-existing threats from Cuba. What threats Cuba presents to U.S., man? What? None. None. Literally none, right? If anybody is creating threats in that part of the world, is U.S., right? And we all know that. And we just know that this is true. And this is it for now, dear friends, for a news segment. Relatively slow day news-wise. Relatively slow day news-wise. And by the way, now let's have a community chat. Now let's have a community chatter. We can chat about any topic you want, dear friends. First, I highlight some comments that I received through PayPal. Also, if there is a super chat, a gift cards on Rumble, I will highlight that. And there is, by the way, so I will highlight that. If we have a new member on either Patreon or Boosty, I will highlight that too. If there is any donation through Boosty, of course, I will highlight. And after, I will go through chatter as I always do, dear friends. So now let me first highlight recommendations from Christopher. Recommendations that I receive through PayPal. So thank you very much, Christopher, once again for your donations to this project, and Christopher, and for recommendations. And Christopher is letting us know that there is an interesting video on Ryu Military channel, RYU Military channel. You can read it, dear friends. Top donation here. And if you check out that channel, you will see a video in which hidden howitzer you can find a video where when a hidden howitzer was found, then strike was conducted on howitzer and massive explosion. I guess munition detonated in a video. Whenever that happens, by the way, it's quite impressive stuff, right? It's extremely dangerous. I mean, no chances of survival for anybody that is either in a vehicle or close to it. it's a massive explosion, but a quite epic one. I have seen quite a few of those. Also, Christopher is recommending us a military tube channel where he saw a video of destruction of oil depot and subsequent smoke over the Kiev. Yet again, video is on a military tube today channel, and there is another recommendation. Let me read it for you. Hello everyone, here is a video you might want to look at the defeat of Ukrainian elite unit by Russians, something you won't see in the Western media. Video can be seen on a YouTube channel called Murat San. So dear friends, I recommend to these channels. I actually subscribe to Murat San, and I'm going to check out these other channels and subscribe to these other channels too, because I may not always have time to follow new videos that they are publishing, but thank you very much. Thank you very much, Christopher, for letting us know about this stuff. And now, dear friends, there was let me highlight. There was a premium subscription gift card on Rumble from Viper. Thank you very much, Viper. I hope you're okay. I have not seen you for quite a while. Am I correct? So I hope everything is good there. Thank you very much for your premium subscription gift card on Rumble, which is a $5 donation. So thank you for that. And also there was a super chat from Scooby, right? 2 super chats from Scooby. I will highlight these two. This is our first one. Scooby, thank you very much for your super chat on Rumble and dollar donation. Scooby commented, Kessler effector. I don't know what that is, Scooby. Maybe I have heard about it sometime in the past, but right now I cannot remember what this Kessler effect means. You are clearly referring to something, but I don't know to what, so therefore it's hard to me to be informative in my comment there. And second super chat from Scooby, Boosty hands all data to Israel, apps Flare Ltd. I don't know about that. Boosty is Boosty owned. It's a Russian company, it's a partially Mail.ru, right? Mail.ru group. So there is a Russian company's presence there in a Boosty. So I don't think they are handing over anything to Israel, right? But if Israelis are hijacking Boosty, then that's a different story. But Israelis are controlling basically every platform that there is out there, right? YouTube is controlled by them largely, Rumble largely, all the others, by the way. These companies, big companies, formally might be American or something, but you dig in deeper and you find out that, well, Zionists are behind these platforms, right? So therefore, it is what it is. This is just the world that we are living in, right? So, but when it comes to Boosty, it's a part of Mail.ru group. VKontakte, there is a VKontakte, Russian alternative to Facebook, also part of Mail.ru group. And they have many other projects, by the way, right? And they have Western partners too, because you can donate through Boosty. It would not be possible if they didn't have some partners in the West, I guess, right? So they must have partners in the West too. And dear friends, this is it. Anna is checking right now. She said there's some old information there. Anyways, by the way, Zain, if you don't want your data to be at risk, you don't have to use internet. You cannot use internet. That's the only way. Everything linked to internet can be hacked by secret services if they want to. I mean, this is just objective reality, and it is what it is. Now let's have a conversation. I want to thank her. I want to thank her. Of course, I already highlighted their recommendations, but once again, let me thank Christopher for $17 donations through PayPal, together with these comments. Thank you very much, Christopher. And yesterday, you dropped a comment, recommendation, another one, to have a bottle of the water during the stream right next to me. And I don't have a water, but I do have a coffee. Yes. I take sip of strong coffee. And now let's have a chat, dear friends. Of course, I will monitor platforms, and if any super chat, if any donations, I will highlight her as soon as I will see them. And let me scroll now, chatter. If I see questions from you, I will, of course, react on it. If you cannot use our support platforms, dear friends, then capital Q will do. Capital Q, capital letters, so that I would understand that question is directed to me, right? And because I'm scrolling in chat, and I might miss your question anyways, even if it's capital letters. But with capital letters, it is easier to spot. And yeah, you see, capital letters. Martin commented earlier that there was a sound issue, sir. I should spot straight away, but unfortunately I didn't. So first few minutes of this live stream, there is technical issues. Thank you all, dear friends, sir, who was trying to let me know in the chat that there was a technical issue there. Pete Snort is commenting Trump's bomb body is gone. Rejoice, no more golf course for escalation talking. Yeah, I mean, this Lindsey Graham was hated by all over the world, by the way, right? Disgusting creature, right? Truly disgusting creature, by the way, honestly. There is nothing good that can be said about that creature, right? So, of course, no one gonna drop a single tear about that creature's death. Maybe not even his family members, man, because that's how disgusting that creature was, man. Right? So it is what it is, man. I see a comment from Nidisha Levan. I think Green Goblin fed Lindsey Graham with her adulterated white powder. Altered white powder. First, GD thinks he did. I don't know what happened with Graham. Obviously, they're gonna be speculations. By the way, I will be surprised if some Western propaganda outlets did not push a narrative that maybe Russians killed him. Right? I personally have no issue if anybody killed this creature. Right? Honestly, man. Right? I would not care. Reports are that he had a heart attack, but if someone killed him, good. That's all I can say, man. Good. And everyone gonna laugh at that garbage. That's how it is, and everyone gonna be ironic. And that's ultimate Zelensky's curse. That's ultimate Zelensky's curse, right? Lindsey Graham is the first. They're gonna be others too. I think they're gonna be others too. Christopher Sorella is commenting. Have seen this video. Russia is letting Europe underestimate its power. Video can be seen on arguments, neut- neutrality studies. Thank you for letting us know, Christopher, about it. I think neutrality studies, that channel is also there in recommendations, in my recommendation list there, I think. Thank you for letting us know. And when it comes to this topic that Russia is letting Europe underestimate its power, Russian people being killed, Russian citizens being killed in large number, big numbers, right? And every single loss of life is a tragedy, because it should not happen, right? People are dying only because Western ruling class still in this war. If deterrent was restored on a day Western ruling class crossed the red line, then so many people's lives could be saved, right? We are talking about tens of thousands of lives that could be saved, and of course a lot of infrastructure could be saved that was damaged on Russian territory, and we are talking about not just infrastructure alone, but also people that were working on those enterprises and were dependent, right, on those enterprises. So lives being ruined too, and none of it would happen if we never implemented this restraint policy. If we went after NATO member states straight away, as Iran did, by the way, when it was attacked, they went straight up against their enemies, right? They did not tolerate nothing, and they are clearly better off. So yes, I mean, many people are trying to come up with some understanding of what Putin's plan is, why he is continues with these restraint policies, why he has one attitude towards European ruling class, another towards American ruling class, while he knows perfectly well that all these long-range attacks, most of it is done by direct involvement of US, right? US intelligence, US state institutions, by the way, right? And American companies. Putin cannot be that badly informed that he knows nothing, right? And if he don't knows what's going on, then in that case he should resign, because he is not up to job then, right? If he is misinformed, that's his fault, because it's him that appointed his inner circle, right? So if his inner circle is lying now to him, if administration is lying to him while not providing objective data, then that's still on him, right? That's his fault too. So ultimate responsibility is on Putin, right? And many people had sympathies towards Putin. Some people still do, by the way, and they are trying to understand hard, by the way. I'm monitoring media too, isn't it? MSM and alternative media. People are struggling, not just ordinary people, but experts, by the way, are struggling to understand what the hell is going on in the Kremlin, right? Why Putin is allowing Russian citizens to be killed, Russian infrastructure to be destroyed with total impunity, right? By the Western elites. And in this attempt to understand, some people are coming up with some sort of justifications, like such an idea that you hear in neutrality studies, that Russia is letting Europe underestimate its power. I don't understand this. What is the point? Our people being killed, our industries being targeted, right? And what is the point to let Europeans underestimate Russia? Is anybody in the Kremlin actually thinks that in Europe there is not a single decent intelligence agency that will have more or less adequate data about actual situation here in Russia? So I think something else is going on, man. I think something else is going on. But yet again, point is that we cannot know for sure. We can only speculate, but we don't really have factual information to say that Putin is acting this way because of this or because of that. Because facts, we don't know. We just don't know. We can only speculate. And I'm personally kind of tired with all this stuff, man. It's impossible to understand what Putin is doing. Like today, I was watching. I watched two shows, by the way, on Duran birth. Alex Christoforou had a conversation with Stanislav Krapivnik, military expert, and a commentator, political commentator on internet. Interesting conversation, dear friends. I recommend it for sure. I mean, significant portion of their discussion also was about attempting to understand what is behind Putin's restraint policy, and everybody tries to understand, right? Because logically, it makes no sense, right? Your country is being attacked by NATO member states. Your citizens being killed by NATO member states. Your strategical critical infrastructure is being targeted by NATO member states, and you are just completely ignoring this, right? You are just completely ignoring this. No retaliations, no nothing, not even attempt to restore deterrent so that they would not attack Russia, at least this openly, right? Makes no sense, honestly. And I mean, it makes no sense. And any attempt to somehow justify his policies is, I mean, probably will also find no support in the community, because I don't think it's justifiable. No matter what kind of justification Putin himself might come up with in regards to his restraint policies, but I mean, so many people died, man. That should not. So much infrastructure was damaged that should not, or that nothing. No matter what's going to happen from now on, even if Putin will right now green light security services and militaries to restore deterrent, he's not going to be forgiven. I don't think Russian people will forgive him his weakness. And I think once Putin will no longer be in power, once he will resign or die, or once he's no longer president, I think investigations will take place in regards to Putin, in regards to his inner circle, and there are many things will be revealed that will make it a bit more clear why he was having specific attitude towards the Western ruling class, especially American ruling class. But now, I mean, he is in charge, right? He has appointed people around him. And so it's too bad, man. That's all I can say. Its situation is just too freaking bad. When, you know, and yet again, different speculations, right? I personally think Putin is compromised since the times that he was serving in Germany. I personally, honestly think, by the way, that's my opinion. And this opinion, I have this opinion for a very long time, 10, 15, 20 years. You know, I was working, I guess, on some analytical project, and by analyzing the situation, when you try to understand certain policies that one implements, you have to dig in and try to find some connections here and there, and you will then have at least your personal take on the situation, right, based on certain analytical worker and your reading of the big picture. And I personally think Putin is compromised since he was serving as a KGB officer in the German Democratic Republic. That's my personal opinion about it. He is compromised since then. And he was led by his curators, whoever those are, right? He ended up in Sobchak's team in St. Petersburg. Then very rapidly from St. Petersburg, he moved her into office of director of the FSB. Strange, captain become director of the FSB, really? If he was some legendary spy, you might say he had, this is a legend, right? He was not a legendary spy, man. He was not really, nobody. Freaking nobody, man. Right? But because he was a KGB member, of course, agenda that, spy and there is intelligence services, people like that kind of stuff, James Bond type of figures. And Yeltsin was extremely unpopular. He did not even win presidential elections, by the way. I remind you that it was, you can check out on internet. He preserved power while destroying parliament, right? Remember, there was a tanks, by the way, in Moscow shelling government building where parliament was at the time. Correct? So Western ruling class, they wanted some replacement. They knew Yeltsin is finished, right? Extremely unpopular. And they come up with this figure and agenda that, spy and this and that. And he was in Sobchak team, and you know how Sobchak was known in 90s? He was known to be CIA asset. Sobchak was well known to be CIA freaking asset. And somehow Putin ended up in Sobchak's team. Then this person that captain of KGB, and so what, right? How captain of KGB become a director of the FSB, man? There is a universe between a captain and the director of the FSB, right? Entire freaking universe. This is not normal. But that's what happened. Then he became prime minister, and once he became prime minister, Yeltsin resigned, and so Putin became basically president. So I think he's compromised, man, since he was serving in Germany, and that makes all the sense now, right? I might be wrong, but I strongly believe that he is compromised. And you can guess what kind of people then he put around him, right, in high-ranking positions. And then, you can then calculate yourself what the hell is going on, man. Then you can understand better why Moscow is doing some things and why Moscow is not doing some things, right? But yet again, maybe I'm wrong, man. I'm not claiming that this is exactly. This is just my personal speculation. I have right for speculation, right? That's all it is. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. That's what I think. For a very long time, by the way, very long time. I always had some doubts, that is my reading of the big picture is correct or not, right? But and I was looking for hints, right? I was looking for something that will fundamentally change my reading of the big picture in regards to Putin. But unfortunately, I didn't see no strong indicators that my reading of the big picture is wrong. I just don't see strong indicators of that. Although I'm fully acknowledging that maybe I am wrong in my analytics, right? Because you know, we all are humans, sir. We might have some analytical abilities, sir. We all do have some analytical abilities, sir. But and we all do make mistakes. But that's what my strong belief is, man. That's what explains everything, I think. And maybe not everything, but many things. There was a super chat also. I was not sorry, not super chat, but there was another premium subscription gift card from Viper. Thank you very much, Viper, for another premium subscription gift card on Rumble. Thank you. This is, as I said, every such a gift card, by the way, is a $5 donation, and you can buy these gift cards, sir. You can donate to the channel by doing so, and then you can give these gift cards to anybody you want, or just keep it as it is, right? But every time you purchase this gift card, is a $5 donation to the project. I'm scrolling, dear friends, through chatter. Let me check other platforms. I'm scrolling through chatter. I see a question. Christopher Sorella is commenting, asking, web page called Celebrity Deadpool 2026. Donald Trump and Joe Biden is on this list. Really? I'm not gonna wish no death to nobody. I mean, if you are angry and emotional, you might say some stuff about some politicians. Those should this and those should do that. But of course, none of us would wish death to nobody. But I'm quite sure if both these individuals, Joe Biden and Trump, are gone this year, not that many people gonna drop tear for them, man. That's for sure. Both are scumbags, disgrace of humanity, for sure. My personal take, yet again, some might agree with me, some might don't, but I think Joe Biden and Donald Trump are disgrace for human race. And many others, by the way. Entire Western ruling class is a total disgrace for the human race. Entire Western ruling class and their allies and their puppets, they all are disgrace of humanity. Let's scroll. I see Nitish Kumar is asking, Levan, why do you think EU is suddenly considering declaring RSF as a terror outfitter? What has changed and why now? RSF, can you? I can't remember what RSF is right now. Nidish. Sorry, but I can't. Probably I know what that means, but I can't remember now what. This is in short, right? RSF. So I cannot comment on that. If you can, in another comment, remind me what RSF is then. Also, Nidish is commenting, Luan, why do you think Erdogan gifted a firearm at the NATO meeting? Is there any history behind it or something else? Oh well, I saw something about it, but I did not really pay attention, Nidish, to this stuff. I don't even know to whom he. There was some firearm, right? Old type of firearm, if that's what you are talking about. Um, I don't know. Uh, I don't know, but what is interesting? What is interesting? I mean, take a look at the Turkey. By the way, Turkey is acting against Russia long time. It's a historical enemy of Russia, right? And Turkey was very pro-Ukrainian or pro-Nazi, pro-Ukrainian Nazi, pro-Ukrainian fascist, right? During that NATO summit that took place just recently on 7th and the 8th of July, right, in Ankara. And you know what? Same time as all sorts of reports were coming in from Turkey, Rosatom stated that probably this year Russian specialists will finalize building of that at least the first stage of their Akau nuclear power plant in Turkey. Which yet again, I mean, can you explain me what we are doing? Turkey is our enemy, and we are building nuclear power plant there. And it's not just building nuclear power plant. Turkish specialists, we're gonna also teach Turkish citizens to become specialists in nuclear field, right? To operate on that nuclear power plant. So we are basically giving potentially nuclear weapons to our historical enemy, to Turkey. I try and justify this to me, man. You know, if Putin is actually, I mean, okay, I have said enough about Putin. Uh, you know, but seems like True Gambit is commenting. Seems like all the leaders are compromised in our violent war. The war mongers profit and run this madness. And well, I'm basically somewhat on the same page as you are, True Gambiter. I think in yeah, probably you are spot on. All leaders are compromised. All so-called leaders, let's say. Right? I don't even want to consider those to be actually actual leaders of the humanity. But yeah, system is corrupt, right? System is corrupt and only allows corrupt individuals. One way or another, corruption can be different, right? Only corrupt individuals can be part of a system, I think, and that is true is in everywhere you go. I'm afraid this is the case, and some groups, some probably very tiny group of people are pulling the strings, right? Yeah, and they are deciding when war gonna start or between which countries or how this war's gonna end or who gonna win, who gonna lose, what's gonna happen after that. Or I mean, it looks like everything is well pre-planned, right? Because many things makes no freaking sense whatsoever, but still those things happening. You know, so I have no trust, man. I have no trust in the political system that exists on this planet. Honestly, man, I have zero trust in that system. Yes, it's true. Only way, then you might say, then how we can get rid of this system, then how we can regain the control over our world and our lives and our destiny. And well, I don't know if that is even possible now. It could be very just too late, actually. because there is no ideas in this world that can ignite a global revolution in this world, right? There is no such ideas now. Humanity is too divided. People hate each other based on their ethnicity, based on their religion, based on their race, based on their country of origin, and and everything else. There is too much hate in this freaking world, right? Society, world community. I mean, people are just too freaking divided. And also, there is no ideology that I know of, at least, that can ignite true fight for freedom against corrupt elites, right? All over the world. I mean, and so humanity is effed up, basically. Unfortunately, I mean, humanity is enslaved. This is just factual, right? We are boxed in. Maybe we think we are free and we can do this and that. And in different countries, we can do different things, right? In different countries, you might have a different level of freedoms, but generally speaking, we all have been boxed in and enslaved. That's what it is, man. We are economical units for powerful, for actual decision makers, right? It's a very depressing idea to think about, but I mean, this is just reality as I see it. You know, it's sad, man. It's sad, but you know. And dear friends, there was another premium subscription gift card from Viper. Thank you very much, Viper, for another premium subscription gift card there, and another $5 donation to this project through on Rumble. Thank you very much. And yeah, I agree with you. Uh, all the leaders generating a lot of questions, right? Ah, okay, see, Nidish is explaining RSF UA-backed group who fight in Sudan and Yemen. Ah, rapid response forces or something. That's what it is. Um, yeah, I mean, it's a long time since I paid. Thank you for explaining, Nidisha. It's a long time since I pay any attention to developments in Sudan. Uh, I know many countries are involved there in a confrontation there. UAE is one of them. Turkey is another one. There is a Russian presence too, uh, at least partial presence. Number of other countries, Ethiopia, Egypt, objectively have some interest there because um, they are neighboring, right? But yeah, I don't have strong opinions. Why EU decided to declare this RSF? They declared them terrorists now. I don't know. Probably not. Probably for sure. They want something, right? It's a trade. They are constantly engaged in a trade, right? And whoever gives them what they want, those gonna become a good guys, and their opposition gonna become bad guys. Even if months ago they were supporting, their support was other way around, because these elites, right? Let's call them world elites. They have no principles in reality, isn't it? They have no principles, no morality. Anything goes. As long as they can reach their task, it's all good. So Gina HFX is asking, does EU want RF to invade? Open war could really rally the public, distract from their incompetence of their leadership. Maybe Putin wants them to be further exposed before taking action. I mean, yet again, I mean, we can all try to come up with some sort of justifications for this unjustified, in my personal opinion, restraint policy that Putin is implementing. Um, what I think is that, in my personal opinion, Western ruling class for a long time had they are considering Russia to be main theater of operations against China, right? Western ruling class sees Russia as a main theater of operations against China. There is a two theaters of operations, right? One is a Pacific and Oceania, at sea, basically. And when it comes to ground, it's a Russia that is being considered, designated basically by Western ruling class as a main theater of operations against China. So they want war to happen. They want to provoke war between Russia and China one way or another, and they want China to be depleted or exhausted in that war as much as possible, so that when they will go after China, they will have as minimal resistance as possible. And well, what happened is, by the way, I think, right, and we are speculating, yet again, this is just pure speculation on my behalf. What happened is that when this special military operation started, you all remember, isn't it? Attitude of Western ruling class was very different. Attitude of Western ruling class was very different because probably they were all thinking that this whole special military operation gonna end there in like a couple of days' time. Probably that was a plan. Probably that was a plan, but it did not enter exactly that way. And why is that? You know why? Because despite all their technological, informational, financial investments in Russia from the West, and by the way, I remind you, Russia is kind of politically captured by the West after Soviet Union is being collapsed, right? We all remember Yeltsin, and Putin himself has said that during the Yeltsin's period, CIA assets were in the freaking cabinets of ministers, right? And without approval of CIA assets or Washington representatives, ministers were unable to take decision. That's what Putin himself says on few occasions, at least, right? I have heard that with my own ears, right? So he says that. So level of infiltration was absolutely tremendous. Infiltration of Russian state institutions and so on, right? And well, then what happened is that well, then one way or another, Putin became this figure, this strong figure, politician that was put in position of power, elected, let's say, promoted as a strong leader and stuff. And well, he succeeded. He became very popular. He major popularity come to him after Chechen War died down, Second Chechen War, right? And you can dig in what was going on in the Second Chechen War, how when, what, where those Arabs disappear, all those thousands of Arabs that were fighting. Many were killed, obviously, but somehow suddenly, things change. And they're also one of the main routes of supplies for these terrorists in Chechen Republic during the First World War. During the First Chechen War, during the Second Chechen War was Pankisikanion in Georgia. And somehow it so happened that even though U.S. had Saakashvili in the place in Georgia, in Tbilisi, Saakashvili's regime, extremely anti-Russian. Step by step, but this corridor was shut down. Who did this? Without U.S. involvement, obviously, that Pankisi corridor would not be shut down, right? So victory, let's say, victory in Second Chechen War did made Putin this heroic figure in eyes of many, right? This figure, this strong figure, strong leader. Uh, there was also economical developments too, as I said. There was massive investments in Russian economy, massive investments. And by the way, let's make no mistake here. You might ask, yes, but why would West invest in Russia? Why is West is investing in China? Why is West will invest in any other country? To make money, to gain control, right? To gain influence. And you go here in Russia, you take a look at any big company, including those ones that are formally called state-owned, like Gazprom, like Rosneft and rest. You dig in the shareholders, and you will find there quite interesting stuff there. Just right. You will find quite interesting stuff there. They still continue to make money out of Russia, big money. Still to nowadays, man. These sanctions, these are for public, right? In reality, things are done differently in ways that public not necessarily have to be informed. Because why would they inform us about their dodgy dealings? You know, and so what happened, by the way, I think, is that Western ruling class realized after first few weeks of special military operation that they miscalculated something. And you know what they miscalculated? Level of corruption in Russia. When they see deployment of Russian militaries in the first days and weeks of special military operation, I mean, it became obvious that even though in 2008, after Georgian conflict, massive reforms formally on the paper began in the army, well, initial days and weeks of special military operation clearly highlighted that even though from 2008, let's say, to 2022, about $1 trillion, a lot of money, by the way. I guess more than $1 trillion were formally, at least on the paper, allocated for the armed forces. Units and equipment and everything that went in Ukraine at the time in 2022 did not really look like army that just got freaking $1 trillion in the past 10 years alone. And I remind you, by the way, mostly under the Putin's presidency, budget of defense ministry was $50+ billion every single year. Now it's significantly higher because of the special military operation, but if you take a look, right, you can just Google it, man. And the Western ruling class, I think, realized that, well, corruption, they miscalculated the level of corruption. And probably they began changing their plans. They began changing their plans, and probably they decided that because of corruption, they can no longer rely that Russian army will reach a certain level that it can be actually deployed against China one day. Probably they are now more focused on their own selves, right? They have to become a force that will counter China, and they will try to they will prolong this war as much as possible, right? This proxy war against Russia, to basically allow Russian leadership to build there at least something more or less battle capable, right? While shutting down as much as possible corruption, at least in armed forces. And by the way, I remind you that practically all deputies of former defense minister of Russian Federation are in prison or under investigation. practically all deputies of Shoigu are either in a prison or under investigation. That says something, isn't it? So I can continue, right? Analyzing the situation. Uh, I will try. I can continue to dig into all this stuff, but overall, by the way, to answer your question shortly, I don't think they want Russia to invade. I think Western ruling class wants Russia to have more or less capable military, so that when Western elites will provoke war between Russia and China, China will lose its most of its capabilities on Russia, so that Western elites will have an easy time. Western countries will have an easier time to deal with China first and foremost, because they consider China and the global South to be threat. By the way, right? They don't consider Russia to be threat. It's all freaking propaganda, by the way. They control Russia. Why would they consider Russia to be threat? You know, all these talks that Russia going to invade and Russia this and that, it's just freaking BS to justify increased spendings on militaries. But point is, and by the way, if they find it necessary for agenda to brainwash more people in the West, they might actually provoke open war between Russia and Europe. They can do it because they control, all sides, right? They can do this, and probably they will actually, but it's not going to be all out war. It's just going to be some skirmishes, right? And both sides will then use this to further strengthen their stance, right? In the Western, these skirmishes will be used to justify further militarization, and the Kremlin will use these skirmishes basically to say that, oh, you see, finally we did something, and we are tough and strong and support us now, right? We are not traitors. So it's all bloody theater that is being played out, by the way, in front of everybody, and so many people are dying because of this, man. That's what is going on, I think. I don't think Putin is a decision maker. Am I clear? I don't think he is a decision maker. Others are. You know. I see a super chat, dear friends, and this is real talk, man. This is real talk. Probably something that you have not heard there anywhere else, man. Because, yeah, people are just too freaking careful, man. I can understand why they are all careful. People are afraid, man. You know, it's much safer when you are moving with this flow, right? It's much safer when you are moving with the flow. If you are actually real and actually sharing your takes, your actual reading on the big picture, there is always risk that people might not understand you. You might get alienated, or if or you might end up even in a trouble, right? And I understand perfectly well, by the way, for stuff that I said there in my updates. If I was a public figure here in Russia, probably I would be in a jail now. I'm not a public figure. I have no intention to become a public figure, by the way. I'm just living my life, right, and doing my thing. So therefore, no one cares, probably. Maybe someone is watching, but probably they just don't give a damn, man, what I have to say. But if they suddenly have a change of mind, then I'm in trouble for sure. But fuck it, man. I live my life. I don't really give a fuck. I'm a bit tired of this shitty life, anyways, right? So it is what it is. Um, there was a, there was, by the way, uh, Anna is not happy with me. So I will finalize this program now. Okay. There was a super chat from Scooby on Rumble. Deliberate military strike against their Starlink constellation is one of their most dangerous and plausible ways to trigger deliberate Kessler syndrome in their modern era. Yet again, I don't know what Kessler syndrome is, but you know, members can Google this. But I think Starlink not just has to be neutralized, but Starlink should be designated as terrorist organization, and everybody in Starlink and SpaceX too should be designated as a mass murderers, terrorists, because that's what they are, and their actual steps should be taken to neutralize those people, mass murderers, basically, right? Or maybe you disagree with me, Scooby, I don't know, but it was a Starlink that was used in Starbucks, for example. You know that, isn't it? It was a Starlink that was used in a Starbucks when a dormitory was targeted and 21 students were killed and there are dozens and dozens and dozens more injured. It's all these attacks on Russian Federation mostly are used done with the Starlink internet and the Palantir software. Both American companies, formally at least, and I think both should be designated, and staff of those companies should be also designated as mass murderers and the terrorists, because that's what they are. When one attacks dormitory, kills students, when one attacks municipal transport in the cities, civilian infrastructure, right? Civilians intentionally, and goal is to achieve some political tasks that you have, and that's exactly what Western ruling class does while using whatever they can use, including Palantir and Starlink. That's a pure definition of terrorism, when you use terrorist methods to reach your political goals. That's literally definition of terrorism. So it's fully legal to eliminate, I think, personally, to eliminate Starlink by any means, by kinetic strike or other means, right? Cyber attack or whatever. Same should be done to Palantir and all the other companies that are involved in this bloody war, right? But when it comes to Kessler syndrome, if I did, I'm gonna check, by the way, what that actually means, because I don't know. Thank you very much for sharing, Scooby. Also, there was a premium subscription gift card from Viper, another one. Thank you very much, Viper, for another premium subscription gift card and donation. And there was also a premium subscription gift card from Scooby. So thank you very much, Scooby, for premium subscription gift card and the donation. Each such gift card is, of course, $5 donation. So thank you very much. And Anna is not happy with me. Maybe she thinks I'm saying too much here. Maybe I am, man. Maybe I am, but yeah. Nidish Kumar is commenting, Levan, only thing, sir, I understood is whether capitalism or communism never allow any system or person or product to have monopoly. Monopoly creates tyranny. Well, point is that both, by the way, capitalism, so-called capitalism, and the communism are base grounds for the monopolies, right? Actually, when it comes to communism, a ruling party is a monopoly basically on everything, right? On everything. It all depends, right? Nowadays, you can find all sorts of communists out there, and it might become a little difficult to understand what they even mean by calling themselves communists, right? I am left liberal personally. I have some left liberal ideas, but I don't call myself a communist because communists are for total control, basically, right? When state runs everything. There is no free market economy, basically, under the communism, and I don't think that's the right way to go. Soviet Union tried; it did not work well. It achieved many things, but eventually, I think it was a fundamental mistake that small and medium business was not allowed. It was a crucial mistake on behalf of communists in Soviet Union that they did not openly allow and legalize small and medium businesses as they should, right? That created a black market. Black market created additional means of corruption of this in society, in the political system itself, in the state system, right? It decimated the country. When it comes to capitalism, by the way, in capitalism, I mean, take a look at the US, by the way. Many people are literally worshiping money, right? Many people are considering, judging other people's success based on how much money they have on account. Those people are effed up in freaking brains, by the way, because, for God's sake, man, how you can judge somebody's success based on some material stuff, right? How mine has to be messed up big time if you're beginning to prefer like supercar or something, sports car, to a family. $1 million on bank accounts to being a father or the mother to the kids, right? Good father or the mother. It's a very different philosophies, right? Thanks God, here in Russia, many people, maybe not everybody, but many people still think that success of the human being is judged by his human achievements, right? Family, kids, kindness that human did, right, during the life. That's what success actually is, I think, right? How good of a human being you are, not how much freaking money you have on account. Money is just freaking evil, right? That inherent corrupt system that exists in this world is kind of forcefully, forced evil, forced on the public, right? I don't think if humanity will survive, I don't think 500 or 1,000 years from now they're gonna be freaking money around, right? Because hopefully humans will be, much more advanced and will realize that, you don't really need fucking 10 Bugattis to be happy, man, right? And you don't need 10 houses to be happy. You can live happily in one house, right? And people will realize that they don't have to take something from someone. They can have it whenever they want it. And to live this life, you have to participate. You have to be, part of society, right? Or you have to bring something to the table. My brains are not so developed, but of course I cannot understand the mindset of people 1,000 years from now, right? But hopefully they will be much more advanced and they will no longer have this garbage as money and this effed up mentality that material stuff is a priority. No, man, it should never ever be priority. What the hell, right? So both, and by the way, when it comes to capitalism, because it's all about money worshipping, you exactly will end up with the monopolies. That's the straight direction towards monopolies. Take a look at the West. Do you think there is a competition in the West now? No, man. Everything controlled by like just few financial groups. All giant names that you hear, that you might think are competitors to each other, in reality are owned by just very tiny group of people, and that is that. There is no competition. There is no actual competition. And that goes all the way, man, from industry to media, right? Everywhere. It's not a freaking monopoly. So something better has to be, created, right? Some better stuff. Communism, capitalism is just too, I don't know, man, it's too blunt, right? Humans probably are capable of something better than that. There was a thank you, Nidish, for sharing. And there was a super chat on Rumble, dear friends, from D Modus Carter. Thank you very much for your super chatter and the donation, $5 donation, D Modus Carter. And comment is thank you for your honesty, as hardly anyone would touch on subjects you do, but we need more honesty. Thank you very much for your kind words. Thank you. I appreciate your support and the kind words. Thank you. I think so too. I mean, we need honesty, man. We have to be honest. We just have to, right? What is the point then if we are not real? What is the freaking point? And dear friends, if I may, I will end the live stream on that. Interesting comment I spotted. Sashimi Kudo is commenting, it was a terrible mistake for Russia to help US become independent. Their Epstein USA are real Satanists, cannibals. They funded Hitler. When will you use Poseidon Sarma to eliminate this great evil? Well, idea that based on which US was created, United States, Republic, idea was actually good idea, by the way, and hardly anyone will argue with that. When it comes to ruling class, this corrupt, satanic ruling class of the West, and all their elitist groups that they control throughout the world, well, I don't really want to associate them necessarily with their country, and definitely not with the populations of the countries, right? Let's keep them separately. I don't really have any issues with the US. US idea of US, United States, as it was in a Declaration of Independence, as it is in the Constitution of US. Idea of republic and human rights, basic human rights, and many other things, by the way, is a great stuff, actually, right? It's a great stuff, and I think Russia did good helping US become a republic in a war for independence. France helped, by the way, also, right? And of course, US was fighting for independence from British Empire. But let's not blame country for crimes that was. I mean, no. I should phrase it differently. Idea that US stands on was a good one. Unfortunately, there is a saying, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And unfortunately, it so happened that US did become this serious powerhouse, right? Powerhouse, and this power corrupted the people in US elites, as it did before in Europe, by the way, right? As it did there in Europe, and they become one, right? American ruling class, European ruling class, you can say Epstein class, right? Because they're all the same. They're all the same because they are just too long in power. These clans, right? These generational, these families that from generation to generation to generation are transferring power, right? Transferring power, and at some point they are becoming too corrupt, right? Extremely corrupt, extremely evil. Therefore, because that's what power does, man. Power corrupts. Extreme power corrupts extremely. And that's why another say goes that power only has to be in hands of someone that don't really wants it, don't really gives a damn about it, right? Because those people will have better chances, right, to maintain sanity while being in a position of power for as long as possible. But yeah, that's all it is, man. Elites. Those elites, once in power for so long, they then transform systems in such a way that it will serve elites, right, constantly. And this process just continues, and there is no freaking end in this place, right? And eventually, this corrupt system will collapse, crush under its own weight. That's what's gonna happen. That this eventually these rats, this Epstein class and whatever groups they control throughout the world, eventually they're gonna eat each other, because there will be nothing left to eat on this planet, because they quite effectively boxed their whole of humanity in, right? They just conducted a few years ago that major social engineering project when they kept in prison, when they imprisoned basically practically whole of humanity, right? So they tested their power, and they realized that yes, they have ultimate power, by the way, ultimate power. There was dear friends, there was a donation right now. On the Boosty. I will highlight that term. Thank you very much, Sashimi Kuder, for sharing. And let me highlight this. I think that's what's gonna happen, man. They already boxed in all of humanity, enslaved all of humanity. We just don't understand this yet, right? Some has better image of the big picture, others don't, but humanity is being boxed in. And these global elites, they know they can do anything. They really literally can do anything, right? They can pull off any tricks over the humanity, and nothing will stop them because they already did it. And because they are already corrupt, right? They already are bad people. This tremendous power will corrupt them even further, right? Ultimately. And I'm telling you, man, eventually, I don't know when this will happen. In 10 years from now, in 20 years from now, 50 years from now, but system that they built, those corrupt global elites, gonna crush under its own weight, because those elites gonna start eating each other. They're gonna start more and more extensively fight each other, right? Because there are different groups there, right? and probably they will cause an extinction level event. I think there is high probability that humanity will face extinction level event in next 50 years. Maybe next 10, 15 years. You know. Tak. Now let me highlight this difference. I hope you, you like the conversation. We talk about stuff that, really rarely talked about, by the way, in many other channels, if ever. So, let me highlight this now. There was a donation, $20 donation on a Boosty, by the way, from George. And thank you very much, George, for your donation. And I will highlight now. Mhm. Mhm. So thank you very much, George, once again for your $20 donation through Boosty. Its donation is to basically help the project. So thank you very much. Thank you. And well, should I end the live stream on that difference? I see a comment from Christopher. Society more hardline than the government. Why Putin remains restrained? Krapivnik and Thomas. I guess there was Christopher is sharing with us information about another interview that or conversation that Stanislav Krapivnik, Russian expert, by the way, had either Thomas, I don't know Thomas whom, but I watched today a conversation between Stanislav Krapivnik and Alex Christoforou, Duran host, and it was an interesting conversation. And yes, I recommend that conversation too. After that, I watched conversation between Alex Christoforou and Alexander Mercouris. Did not watch, I listened because I was doing my program here. Also interesting. And as I said, man, many people out there are asking same questions as we do. Same questions as we do, right? Or maybe I'm being too director, too specific in my takes than others, but everybody is asking questions, and that's for sure. Everybody is asking questions because we all want to know what the hell is going on, really. I mean, how this is even possible, right? That nuclear superpower is being struck on daily basis, literally on daily basis, by these NATO member states. So many people being killed there. Economy was damaged, the infrastructure is destroyed, and no response. Just statements here and there. What the hell, man? What the hell? You know. I think there will be, by the way, there will be eventually. I think Western ruling class, what they will do, they will initiate an open conflict between a number of European NATO member states and Russia. They will then they will shortly or quickly shut down the confrontation, right? Separate the sides, and both sides will use then this conflict to justify further militarization, right? While Western ruling class will be still in charge in both directions, and all of it is to basically neutralize China. I think I'm afraid that's what's going on. Western ruling class definitely has its assets in China, its grip on China and their global south, generally speaking. But I guess they are still afraid. They're still afraid. They want total control. They want total control, and I think they are pushing this world towards one world government. When what they're gonna, all they have to do, by the way, is create another world war, and after that, you know, they will come up with their idea that states no longer necessary because it's too dangerous, right? Uh, this nationalism is also too dangerous. So better you all be gray than have some your own history, your own culture, and stuff like that. They will try to push furthermore on this on transformation of people into gray mass, right? And they will divide planet in the zones. That's what ultimate goal is of current generation of global elites, right? To transform this world into designated zones, no longer countries, no longer nations, no longer nothing like that, just designated zones that will be run by appointees of global government, whatever they're going to call it, UN 2.0 or something else. And you know, dear friends, after Second World War, after First World War, League of Nations was created, first major attempt of a global government. After Second World War, UN was created, and I think after Third World War, they will finally, these global powers will finally create what they want, which is one world government and Earth, planet Earth, designated into freaking zones, right? Without any countries and so on. And they will try to transform everybody into a gray mass. That's their ultimate goal, and that they will try to cement their dominance forever by doing so, isn't it? Because who's gonna challenge them at that point? No one. Dear friends, anyways, we can of course discuss all this stuff, by the way, a long time, but and this is also commenting, Levan, what does international law and court says about foreign national dying in prison? As I think we heading towards that with that CIA spy we caught her. International law, it does not say nothing about it. There is some basic principles how prisoners have to be treated there, no matter from which country, right? There's certain some basics that needs to be done for prison population. Although, if you take a look at what is going on in number of countries, by the way, in prisons, there is no norms. You might argue, right? It different in different countries. Point is what what political intention this or that country has, right? And if a CIA spy that Indian Secret Service is caught her is going to die in Indian prison for whatever reason in Indian custody, then I think that will be used against India as leverage in the future. Maybe Americans would love that spy to die there so that they will always point at India that, oh, you kill our guy there. So, now you have to do this and that, or we will come up with massive sanctions against you. You know, I don't think international law says anything. I mean, you cannot have an international law about like all the nuances, right? What kind of bread you have to give to a prisoner or stuff like that. Some basic norms have to be preserved, and if prisoner is sick, Medicare has to be provided, right? Prisoners should not be tortured, should live in a decent environment. Some basics, basically, right? Because it's a prison after all, but humans, they still are humans, by the way, right? There are some criminals that committed their unbelievable crimes. They should not be in a prison, they should be executed. I think all the prisoners, all the criminals that committed horrendous crimes, they should be executed, right? There is no, people should not pay for them, right, to live in a prison. In prison should be people that are made a mistake in their lives, and maybe they have a chance to become a better human being in the future, right? And one way how you can stimulate those people to become better is to give them education, to give them some care, right? Some care. Maybe they never been taken care of, and that's why they become, I don't know, criminals or something. You give them education. You teach them some professions, right, that they can be good at, stuff like that. And then you release them, and hopefully they will join society and will be useful members of for the society. But criminals that committed horrendous crimes, they should be executed, man. Don't waste no time, no money on those. My personal take on that. But yeah, when it comes to international norms, it's some basic human principles should be preserved, I guess, right? Ah, that's interesting. The one he is drinking soy milk like water, he's asking for a special diet and on a hunger strike. Oh, that's his right, man. If he wants to die from hunger, let him die, man. Why you care? You are not torturing, right? Nobody. It's a prisoner. It's a terrorist, actually, right? The CIA asset or not, but it's a terrorist. So as long as your security services are not torturing that creature, as long as he has some decent environment to live, food is provided if he wants to, then okay. And when it comes to special diets, there can be no special diet. Only special diet that can be is when it's based on religion, right? If one is a Hindu, you cannot give them a beef. Understandable, right? You just cannot. And that would be insulting. If someone is a Muslim or Jewish, you cannot give them a pork. Also understandable. If someone is a Christian, you can give anything, right? Because Christians don't really have this, Christians don't prohibit to eat any meat, right? So that is that. And if someone says that, he is like what they call themselves, man, what they call themselves, when they only eat like grass and stuff. If someone says they need this special diet of some sort, or if it's nothing extraordinary, if prisoner is not demanding black caviar, 1 kilo of caviar every day, then just give him whatever he wants, or just ignore, man, and let him die. That's what I would do, man. It's your choice. You want to be on a hunger strike, then okay, as long as you're not being tortured, you've been provided with all the basics, right, including food. You're good, man. You want to hunger, go for hunger, just do it. So don't care about it, Nidish. US will use this case against India anyways, right? No matter what. And probably already does. Probably already does. So that's what it is. Yeah, if someone says it's a vegan, right, and only takes this food, and someone might say that, oh no, they're gonna take that food, and just say, you know what, we don't give a damn, man. That's the food that everybody eats, so you will eat that too. Or just drink freaking water, and that's it, man, and be happy. Don't care about it, man. They don't really deserve that much attention, those terrorists, right? That is that. And just because he's a CIA asset changes nothing. That creature is a terrorist. He was, together with a number of Ukrainian citizens, were smuggling drones and God knows what else to conduct terrorist activity. So they are terrorists. So treat them as such, man. And that is it. And dear friends, this is it for now. This is it for now. I hope you find our conversation to be good one, interesting one. You see, Nidish is adding, dear friends, to this story that CIA asset that Indian Secret Services caught, together with number of Ukrainian citizens, was involved in Libya, Syria, and Ukraine. I mean, terrorists, right? Terrorists. India should treat him as a terrorist too. But unfortunately, we are living in a world where no matter how correct you are, you know, US will use anything against you anyways, right? Or Western ruling class. That's what they do, man. That's how it is. So best way is just to not worry about it, I guess. Thank you all, dear friends, for your time and attention. Many thanks to all the members of community that donated during the stream. Of course, many thanks to all members of community who ever supported and continues to support my work. Have a wonderful day, dear friends, and see you tomorrow. Bye for now.